Hello again, and today I am going to be doing another one of my videos in the Why I Hate series. And today I'm going to be talking about why I hate intellectuals and eggheads specifically. Now, the intellectual is someone that you find in a lot of these political circles nowadays who claims to be well-read and articulate and can elucidate on a variety of topics. However, they come off as nerds, they come off as dorks, they come off as bookworms, and they don't seem very practical. They tend to dwell in the ideas rather than trying to, apply their ideas outward. And, people like the group, the intellectual dark web, which fucking corniest shit ever. Like, what is so edgy about the intellectual dark web? There's nothing fucking mysterious about their ideas. Maybe if you're like a fucking far leftist, like a real progressive, like maybe then you'll find these people to be edgy. I find them to be incredibly milquetoast. And that is the whole part of their mystique, is to appear really edgy to the left but be friendly and approachable to anybody else. And yet they kind of espouse all these like establishment conservative ink talking points, and while this commentary really isn't about them, they do fit the type of the egghead and the intellectual. Another person that seems to do this is Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain is a lawyer. Will Chamberlain is also the editor-in-chief of Human Events. He's also a member of the Merchant Right, trying to make that money because Daddy's trust fund might run out soon, and I got to be prepared for that. And, Will Chamberlain is just... he's just a fucking dork. Like, if you look at him talk, if you look at him speak, he's just a fucking egghead and a dork. So let's move into the reasons as to why I hate these kinds of people. The first reason is that they are incredibly pretentious. They have, this air about them of self-centeredness, smugness, and believing that they're right all the time. And this is because they have all these degrees. They're lawyers, they're doctors, PhDs, obviously. Some of them maybe medicals, I don't know out there. But fucking, they believe that their academic pedigree puts them on a higher pedestal above the average working man. And I'll tell you, I have a college degree. That does not make me better than the fucking average Joe on the street, okay? I might be a little bit more well-read. I don't know. But I'm not going to assume outright, just because this guy's walking down the street, that I'm smarter than him. That it's just so, like, egocentric and ridiculous. And even though people have claimed in the past that I'm that kind of person, I really am not. I don't care anymore about ego. I do not want an ego, and I've been taught in my freshman year of college that to have an ego is to be the enemy of everybody. And so far, the person that taught me that has been proven definitely correct. So we're going to move into the next point, which is elitism. And this, along with pretentiousness, is, these points kind of work together. In that, they believe themselves to be the superior people of the world because they're enlightened intellectuals. And so therefore we have to put ourselves as the intellectual above the common man. And recently, Tucker Carlson was talking about elites in the political sense, in the more likely the political dynasty sense, in that he likes elites, but he doesn't think the elites that we have currently are really of note. And I disagree with this, not only because I am not a trust fund family boy like Tucker Carlson, but I feel that, again, this sense of superiority does not make you special. What you do with your life and your actions make you special. That is the driving force behind your name, behind what you want to do with yourself. How you get up in the morning, it's not this whole like, oh, we need to appreciate these people on a higher plane of existence. It's like, no, it's like that is earned, that is not given. And that is why I will never set up a trust fund for my children. Because fuck them, they gotta learn the hard way. Speaking of setting up a trust fund, these people, in the third point, I believe, have no real world experience or very little. And you can see this by more on the left side of the political spectrum, but definitely in certain cases with, the neocons that peddle trickle-down economics and foreign wars and unfettered immigration. They do not give a shit about people on the ground. They do not give a shit about their experience. They do not give a shit about their background. And it shows. And this is because they're wrapped up in their little books, looking at history, being like, oh, that worked in the past, therefore it will work now. It's like, then this is why we haven't evolved as the human species, because we're so focused on the past that we are just forgetting that there is a future ahead of us. We're in 2020 and we still don't have flying cars. We still don't have teleportation. We still don't have, laser technology. We don't even have like artificial intelligence in the real sense, in the utopian sense. We are steadily going towards artificial intelligence in the dystopian sense, in the sense that they're going to fucking kill us if they become sentient, if they become self-aware. And frankly, I want to avoid that as much as possible, and yet these eggheads are not putting their brain power towards it. They're acting like a bunch of smooth brains and, debating and deliberating when the potential is already upon us. But I don't know. I feel like I have more to say on this subject. It's just that with the intellectual, with the egghead, with the dork, they just don't really occupy my time the way I thought they would when I wrote down this topic. And I think it's because that it's not that I'm better than them. It's that I don't really interact with them as much as I used to. I used to go to a high school where there were quote-unquote proclaimed geniuses by the faculty and the higher-ups, and I always had that kind of potential to be a genius. I just chose to hyper-focus my interests because I am autistic, and now I am more of a weaponized autist, and I really dig it. I don't feel really, again, I don't feel high of myself. I'm not sitting on some fucking throne being like, get me my tea, slave. And yet, here we are in the current year where intellectuals and eggheads reign supreme. It's that tired old meme of the nerds in high school becoming the billionaires of tomorrow. And at a certain point, the common man is going to be sick of listening to the intellectual, of listening to the egghead drone on about things that literally don't work, policies that do not work in reality. And they're going to revolt, and it's going to be messy. It's going to be awful for civilization, and there's no way that these eggheads are going to stop it because they're not physical beings. They are, they're the bookworm type. They're the meek and the frail. And so, in conclusion, the intellectual is pretentious, is an elitist, and has little to no real-world experience. And this informs me that we should be listening to people who are more centered, are more on the ground, are on reality, aren't, projecting from a higher plane of existence. And with all that, we have to consider the fundamental truth in that wisdom does not come from a book. Wisdom comes from experience. And that we can share wisdom throughout the ages, but at some point you're going to have to actually get up off your ass and go put those ideas into practice. And to the intellectuals, I say this. If you're not careful, if you are not practicing what you preach, well then, boy, you better tread lightly, because the common man will not tolerate your bullshit much longer.